Back inside the Cardinal Playbook with our second segment, we visit with head track and field coach Tom Eisenhauer, who brings back two medalists from the GLVC Indoor Track and Field Championship. Blake Alexander and Satoa Talamatasi each win silver medals. Congratulations with your very young team going to the indoors.
Thank you, and thanks for having me, Rick.
Sure.
Always love coming in here and talking with you. So it was a great meet. You know, it's as we talked last week, we knew it was going to be tough for us being a young team. We knew we didn't have a lot of depth, so we had the expectations as far as the team score that we were, team-wise, we finished about exactly where we expected to finish. But we had a lot of great individuals step up and do some fantastic things. You talked about Satoa and Blake. Not only did Satoa take second, but she also broke a school record in the shot put. So her marker of 13.47 meters is the equivalent of 44 feet and 2.5 inches. So great toss by her. And she had broken that record earlier this year. And actually, that was the third time that she had broken it this season. So
she's having a great year.
She's having a great year, absolutely. Blake Alexander took second in the hurdles, ran 8.25 seconds. So not quite his school record, but it's right there, and competed well with a lot of fast guys, and there, in fact, there was actually disqualification in the finals of that race, and so sometimes with the men's high hurdles, you get a lot of really good hurdlers together, and elbows are being thrown, and feet are clipping, and hurdles are getting kicked, and so it's kind of a wild ride.
Well, let's talk about Blake a little bit, because here's a freshman guy coming in and contributing immediately for you in his first collegiate meets. Where is he from, and what kind of competitor is he?
He's from Stratford, Missouri, just in the Springfield area, and just a very, very talented young man, very driven young man. A lot of fun to be around. At practice, he's all business, doesn't have a lot to say, but just puts in the hard work, and then you get him on the bus, you get him on anywhere outside of practice, and he's a lot of fun. And in fact, it's kind of neat that he and Satoa both play second, because they're both a lot alike. They're both very outgoing, very energetic, and they both like to have a lot of fun. So, he chose Jewel because of our nursing program. We're one of the few schools that allows you to compete at a high level of athletics and go through a nursing program for 4 years.
Really challenging program.
Absolutely. Our location is one of the great things that provides that opportunity for students, and so we're fortunate that he joined us. And he came out of high school as a 2-time state champion, and has just really stepped up and been a competitor, like you said, on the college scene right away. And he's only a freshman, so he's going to get stronger. He's going to spend more time in the weight room, and so I really expect him to make the national meet for sure his sophomore year, his realistic goal.
Satoa, you talk about the ultimate gym rat and that personality that goes along with it. She is always in the gym, and a sophomore here. Has she taken a gigantic step here, or was it kind of expected between her freshman and sophomore year that she would come to this level?
No, she really has taken a gigantic step. When we recruited her, it wasn't for her shot put abilities. She only threw the shot in high school about 36, 37 feet, so it really wasn't the mark that stood out. We were more interested in her ability to throw the discus and what we viewed as the potential to be a great weight throw and hammer thrower. And so with her this year, coming along with the shot the way she has, that was really, I would say, was a surprise for our entire coaching staff. A good surprise. I'm glad it happened. So, and she's a very explosive young lady, and she's a hard worker. She likes to have a lot of fun, but at the core of it, she's a competitor and she wants to compete.
You're talking about Blake being involved in the nursing program, but Satoa, for instance, is also a manager on the women's basketball team, and so again, that's kind of that Jewel thing. You can do a lot of different things when you're here.
Yeah, and she works for the intramural, so
right.
Like you said, she's a gym rat.
Keeping in mind that this is a very young team, two young teams you take to the GLVC indoors, who else had a good meet for you?
Well, Margaret Perko had a fantastic meet. In this, she qualified in both the 60-meter hurdles and the long jump. She actually broke the school record in the long jump. Wow. Her leap of 5.4 meters beat Sarah Shippey's record of 5.39 meters. So just barely eached over it, but that's 17 feet 8 3/4 of an inch. So big jump for her. It's a very deep field this year, and so it's one of those things. Unfortunately, you go in, you break school record, and you get 8th place with it. But like I said, a deep field in the long jump, probably the most competitive long jump field in the conference that I've ever seen. So A lot of those girls are going to graduate, which is great for Margaret. Opportunities will open up. She also placed fourth in the hurdles. She ran 8.91 seconds in the prelims, and then came back and ran 8.94 seconds in the finals. And so, those are her two fastest times of the season. So she's really come right in step. We were able to get her to run her fastest when we needed her to. And so, but she's also a competitor, and so, as a coach, you can only do so much to prepare these athletes. And when you get to the meet, you have to let them go and do their thing. And a lot of times the kids that have the most competitive drive are going to be the ones that step up and do great things.
Yeah, they rise to the occasion.
I do need to mention Jessica Shockley.
Okay.
She broke the school record last week in the 800, and then she broke it again this weekend.
Oh, nice.
So, we had 3 school records go down this weekend by our women's team. We had a freshman thrower, Mariah Bernard. She made it to the finals in the weight throw. Unfortunately, it took 9 to finals. She got 9th, so she didn't score. And then Jessica Goldsberry, who's also a sophomore, she had the 8th fastest qualifying time out of prelims. Unfortunately, they take the heat winners in the next fastest time. So there was a heat winner with a slower time that made it into the finals ahead of her. And so, we talk about being a young team. Yeah, we have Satoa and Margaret doing great things, but with these other girls on the bubble. We've got freshman Julia Parker from here in the Liberty area, went to Liberty North High School, and she placed 7th in the pentathlon. It was her first time doing that event ever. So a lot of exciting things on the women's side. And then the men's side, you've got Blake Alexander and Trevor Nix, freshman thrower from Owensville, Missouri. He placed 8th in both throwing events. Oh. Now, what really makes that a great thing is he was the only freshman thrower in the men's events to even be in the finals, let alone score. Yeah. And so on the men's side, it becomes difficult because you go from a 12-pound shot in high school to a 16-pound shot in college.
So that's pretty impressive.
It takes time to learn, and it takes time to grow and get stronger. And so he stepped in right away and had some. I believe it was a PR in the weight throw, but I think it was his second best throw in the shot. And then, fantastic job by him. Senior Chris Speed, he took 6th in the heptathlon, had a personal best in that event, and so we'll be sad to see him go. Chris Speed's a great young man, and with a name like Speed.
I was going to say, for track, that's great.
Yeah. So.
Okay. The transition between indoor and outdoor. What do you do now?
Now we try to rest up. It takes a lot of toll on you to go to this meet. We leave on a Wednesday night. We drive for 4 hours, stay the night, get up the next morning, drive another 4 hours. We go and practice. The competition is a 2-day competition. You spend a lot of time at the track, and then we drive home over the night. Yeah. Unfortunately, due to the weather, we actually spent 5 hours stopped on the interstate.
Really?
Due to an accident up the road ahead of us, and so we didn't even get back onto campus until about 8:30 Sunday morning, and so. There's no rest for the weary because these kids got to get up and go to class the next day, and they still have homework to do. So, it's part of being a student athlete, though, and so keeping those things in mind, physical and mental. We give them this week. We basically go to voluntary practices, so they'll be in the weight room 2 days this week, but for the most part, we want them in the training room, rehabbing, recovering, and just rest. I mean, rest is the best thing they can do right now. Yeah. We want to give them an opportunity to catch up on schoolwork if they need to. And then after this week, we'll begin our outdoor practices. Hopefully the snow will melt.
Yes.
Yeah. And then we'll just go straight into it. And we'll have an outdoor meet basically every Saturday from here on to the conference championships.
When is the first one, the first outdoor?
Well, the first one will be Saturday, March 22nd, and doing something kind of new this year for us. We're going to load up a bus and head down to Kingsville, Texas, and compete at Texas A&M Kingsville. We're going to chase the warm weather. We're learning a lesson from baseball and softball, and we're going south.
Good. All right.
So last year we were in Mizzou during that week, and it was 20 degrees and cold, and so
the Igloo Invitational, right?
Yeah. so we're going south, and then we'll chase some marks, chase some warm weather, and give the kids a chance to have a little bit of spring break.
Right,
so.
Right. All right, Tom, thank you very much. And again, congratulations to Alexander and Talamatasi for their second-place finishes at the GLVC indoor meet. Coming up next, more on Inside the Cardinal Playbook.